Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Lancaster Criminal Justice Commission. Roll call.
Commissioners Brown, absent. Harris,
Present.
Herr,
Present.
McCracken,
Present.
Hernandez,
Present.
Vice Chair Little,
Present.
Chairman Mercy.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay, great. Commissioner Hernandez, would you like to lead us in our pledge?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have, doesn't look like we have a presentation on the agenda, so we'll move to the consent calendar, which is just one item, the minutes from the previous meeting. Is there any objection to adopting or approving the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve as presented.
Okay. Well, if there's no objection, we'll deem it approved. Great. Okay. Commission staff presentations, updates, and reports. We'll start with sheriffs. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Commission, good morning. Ma'am.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Deputy Kit Groupie, Lancaster Sheriff Station Community Relations, and I'm going to present to you the ComStat or crime statistics for May of 2025. So we're going to start out with criminal homicides. In 2025, total incidents of 8 in the city of Lancaster, with 2 in the unincorporated, for a total of 10, which gives you an overall year-to-date increase from 24 to 25 of 25%. In May of 25, there were 2 homicides in the city of Lancaster. A firearm was used in both incidents. One incident occurred in a parking lot, and one incident occurred at a motel. No arrests have been made. And then in 2025, there have been 8 total, 8 victims with that increase of the 14.29%. We'll go down to forcible rape. With a total incidents in 2025 of 41 in the city, with 3 in the unincorporated area, for a total of 44, which gives you a total increase in the city of 51.85%, with a drop at 70% in the unincorporated area, for a station total increase at 18.92%. Go down to robberies. In the city of Lancaster, there's been 119 robberies, with 12 in the unincorporated area, for a total of 131. It's a 14.42 increase in the city, with a 14.29 decrease in the unincorporated area, for an overall total station increase of 11.02%. Aggravated assaults are at 361 in the city, with a total of 51 in the unincorporated area, which brings it to 412. That's a drop in the city of 11.30%, with an increase in the unincorporated area of 8.51%, for a total drop overall of 9.25%. Burglaries within the city of Lancaster are at 236, 47 in the unincorporated area, for a total of 283. With a drop at 17.19% in the city, and a drop of 6% in the unincorporated area, for overall of 15.52% for the station. Larceny thefts are at 461 within the city, 58 in the unincorporated area, for a total of 519, with a drop in percentage 12.52%. In the city, unincorporated area is at a drop of 24.68%, for a total drop of 14.07%. Grand thefts are at 529 within the city, 97 in the unincorporated area, which in the city is an increase of 3.73%, with a drop in the unincorporated area at 46.70%, for a total drop at 9.54% station overall. Arsons are at 19 in the city, 5 in the unincorporated areas, with an increase in the city of 46.15%, and a drop of 37.50% in the unincorporated area, for a total increase of 14.29%. So the Part 1 crimes total are at 1,774 in the city, 275 in the unincorporated area, which brings it to 2,049. And then you have that decrease at 5.64% in the city, and it's a drop at 29.31% in the unincorporated area, for a total drop of 9.70%.
Hey, Kit, is there any way, without trying to create a huge workload on your behalf, to know how does the city of Lancaster rank in Los Angeles County and or in California? I mean, we get these numbers every month, but I'm real curious to know, are we in real bad shape? We're average? Kind of where are we?
So comparatively speaking to other cities from the northern border to the southern border of California, we could probably research that and find out. I don't want to speak too much on behalf of my crime analyst, but he's pretty much a genius, so I'm
Gotcha.
sure we could get that information, yes.
I mean, it would help us to know how we fare with the state of California. I mean, where do we rank?
And I think also too, like what you're saying, Howard, is too, the amount of square miles that we have to cover too
Right.
is a huge factor on that.
And I think it has to be comparable to population by city, and what we cover for it to be. I don't think we can go every city from north to south. It would have to be comparable cities for crime statistics.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, I will 100% look into that and can have that information to you prior to the next meeting or the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, based on the population you just mentioned, that the city of Lancaster, and are we landed on what category? Mid-sized city is not large yet.
Right. It's not a metropolis. It's not like a LA-sized city, or, San Francisco or San Diego. So I don't know what it would be considered on the statistics for, probably a mid-sized city, but I don't know exactly where it would fall into based on population. For May of 2025, we are at 422 arrests, which is a little higher than last year at 419. And there's your City of Lancaster Part 1 hotspot areas for May of 2025, which is always very comparable to the calls for service. If we go back and we're looking on the map, they're very close, obviously, because the hotspot areas are where we're responding to those Part 1 crime calls.
And that hasn't changed much, has it, over the years? It seems to be the
Seems like it's generally in the same
same area
areas.
all the time.
Then you have ops onlys, where a majority of our deputies are working patrol proactively and creating observations. And that's the locations where those are happening. We're going to move on to the City of Lancaster traffic data for May of '25. Total of fatal traffic collisions or crashes is 1. Total of injury crashes is 67. Total of non-injury crashes is 84. There were 149 citations issued for the month, and there was a total of 16 DUI-related arrests. Did anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions. Going back to the 5 and 1 year comparison, what are we doing differently in the unincorporated areas? Because I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers in those areas seem to be improving. where historically it looked like those numbers were the worst numbers, but we're seeing a big improvement in those areas. Is there something different that's going on that we're doing out there?
No, there's no added enforcement or anything different. I would imagine the population is extremely different in those unincorporated areas to the more dense part of the city where our Part 1 crimes are occurring by population.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a factor on those Part 1 crimes, but I know that the population where we cover from Neenack, Antelope Acres to Lake Los Angeles, Wilsona Gardens, and all those unincorporated areas are way far less populated than the areas where the main Part 1 crimes are occurring on that hotspot map.
Okay. And then on the arson, we're obviously still high on that. What are we finding that, is it still structures and is it, I know we were having a lot of vehicle fires because of the thefts being high. Are we still finding that to be the case?
I have some additional notes for the arsons that have occurred. For May alone,
Okay.
There were 4 arsons in the city of Lancaster, 5 total. 1 previous arson was subtracted off the year-to-date increase. 3 incidents were at a residence. 1 incident was in a vacant building, and then 1 was in a vacant garage. 2 suspects and 1 suspect were arrested. So 2 of the incidents are repeat locations for the previous month. So when you're looking at your arsons and you have a total of, 19 in the city, and previously you had, in 2024, where I'm looking, excuse me real quick here, you have 13 for May in 2024, and you're at 19. That will increase your percentage rate greatly, but overall, you're looking at the numbers with that explanation, with repeat locations.
Okay.
And are, many of those are homeless folks setting essentially campfires or?
I don't know their
eating?
housing status. It would be unfair for me to speak of that because I don't have that information. But it would make sense if these are in vacant locations. That's majority of where our transient or unhoused population stays, vacant locations or, encampments and stuff like that.
Thank you.
The last question I had, it doesn't pertain to what's on this comparison list, but it has to do with, we celebrated 4th of July. We had to deal with a lot of illegal fireworks that went off. Do you have any numbers as far as citations that were given out for illegal fireworks that were done out there, because it popped off a lot of fires all over the place and.
Right, so because we're only at May with putting together those crime statistics, it's fairly soon for us to have the end of June, July crime statistics. However, I did reach out to my crime analyst, so there's a potential that I could have a generic number of citations or calls related to illegal fireworks here shortly before the meeting's over.
Great, thank you.
Were there any other questions?
Are we doing any, the DUI checkpoint regularly, or is that the only holiday seasons only?
No, we have done, we did one a few months ago. I know we have a deputy assigned to basically a DUI car who is just specially enforcing and looking for people who are impaired while they're driving. But it's not only solely to holiday weekends or anything like that.
I know it's CHP is doing it regularly as well.
Right. Through, I believe, and I don't want to speak on behalf of them, I know the last one they did, when they posted, it's through basically the Office of Traffic Safety grants that they get from the state, so. But yeah, we are doing them.
Are you still getting grants from, or funding from ABC?
I don't know, that might be a question my captain would
They
have
used
to
to.
answer. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, currently we have no grants or funding through ABC. None of the sting operations that we used to do, we don't have that funding anymore.
But no funding at all, huh?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
I will say in regards to the statistics for our area, if you compared them to Palmdale and Santa Clarita, that all three jurisdictions are seeing about the same decrease in crime across the board, roughly between 6 to 10% in all three jurisdictions.
Interesting.
And as Deputy Group had indicated, when you look at the unincorporated area, the numbers are a lot less, and we have seen that, remarkable decrease in auto thefts in the unincorporated area. And we have been partnering with our trap team, North County Trap Team, and they've been conducting operations with our Lancaster team in regards to auto theft, both in the city and in the unincorporated area.
Okay, thank you. Before I move on, I actually should have done this first. I want to introduce our new commissioner, Commissioner Cynthia Hernandez. So we're excited to have you join us, and as we go through today, I'll try to give a little background on what we're doing. As you see, we're getting reports from our different law enforcement agency partners, and feel free to ask any questions. And to those of you that'll be speaking, if you don't mind, just introducing yourself, since we do have a new commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Next up, do we have, is Highway Patrol here? I didn't see them. Okay. District Attorney.
Good morning. I'm Micah Piantanita. I'm the head deputy of the District Attorney's Office here in Antelope Valley. Today, I have for you some filing statistics for our felony filings and one category of misdemeanor crimes, violations of protective orders. The statistics are for the months of May and June, and that includes our filings as well as declines. And before I get started, I wanted to tell you that you will see that there are some numbers that are significantly higher in some areas than others. I don't have any specific reason for the increase in the numbers, other than we've been working on a project to work through our backlog of case filings. Over the past few years in our electronic filing system, we've developed this backlog of cases that needed to be reviewed by deputy DAs and processed for filing. And for the last few months, I've worked with my staff with some help from DAs and other locations to decrease the backlog that we have. When we started the project, we had close to 450 cases in our backlog, 450 cases that needed to be reviewed, and we're down to, right now, I believe, somewhere close to 100 cases. Those are not backlogged cases. Those are all cases that are that have been recently submitted to our office, so we've completely cleared out those older case submissions. And so I'm very pleased with that result, that now we're working with cases that detectives are working on that were recent arrest and recently completed investigations. So we're in really good shape right now. So with the statistics for May and June of this year for arson, we filed one case in May. We did not have any filings for arson-related cases in June. We did not decline any cases in that area in May or June. For auto thefts, for May, we filed 24 cases. June, we filed 12. We declined 12 cases in May, and we declined 9 in June. Excuse me, I need my reading glasses. Okay, so burglaries, both residential and commercial, we filed 15 in May, 6 in June. We declined 1 burglary in May. We did not decline any cases related to burglary, either residential or commercial, in the month of June. Criminal threats, we filed 3 criminal threats cases in May, 5 in June, declined 3 in May, and declined 2 in June. Drug sales cases, we filed 6 in May, 2 in June. We declined 2 in May. There were no declined drug sales related cases in the month of June. In the area of domestic violence, we filed 8 in May, 9 in June. We declined 11 in the month of May and 9 in June. Felony evading and hit and run cases, we filed 7 in May, 2 in June. We did not decline any of those cases in May. We declined 1 in June. For felony assaults, and these are assaults with a deadly weapon or those without deadly weapon but likely to produce great bodily injury or death. I also include in this category assaults on peace officers. If we have elder abuse cases, I include them in this section as well. In May, we filed 24. June, 16, 11 in May. Declined 11 in May, and declined 8 in June. Felony DUIs, we filed 8 in May. There were 2 felony filings in June, 1 decline in May, and 1 case was declined in June. For grand thefts, that also includes identity theft, we filed 10 cases in May, 3 in June. We declined 6 in May and 4 in June. Illegal firearms and other illegal weapons, we filed 14 in May, 12 in June, declined 6 in May, and 2 in June. Murders and attempted murders, there was 1 filing in May, 1 in June. We did not decline any cases in either May or June in that area. For robberies, we filed 9 in May, 3 in June, declined 2 in May, and there were no declines in June. For sex crimes committed against both adults and children in May, we filed 3. June, there was 1 decline. There were 13 declines in May and 10 declines in June. Vandalism, there were 8 felony filings in May, 1 in June. There were 9 declines in May and 2 declines in June. For violations of protective order, we filed 18 cases in May, 10 in June. We declined 9 in May and declined 2 in June. Do you have any questions regarding the statistics?
Yeah, on the declines,
Yes.
on the larger number ones in May and June, a good example, auto thefts. What would be some of the reasons why those are declined, and it goes down, all the way down to the sex crimes too? Some of the reason why those were declined?
For the sex crimes cases, I think I really need to talk to our sex crimes DA. We have a special unit that handles those cases. I can tell you that because we're going through our backlog, a lot of the cases that were in our backlog are cases that required further investigation. Many of them, we were trying to put cases together and get them into a position where we could file those cases, and for whatever reason, just in my experience, for whatever reason, we didn't believe that we had enough evidence to file those cases. It could be that we were waiting for DNA on a case, and with DNA, it takes months to get the DNA results back, sometimes 6, 7 months to get results for some of those things back. That could be a reason that might explain that. Many times on sex crimes cases, the victims on those cases do not wish to prosecute. We will not go forward on a sex crimes case without the cooperation of the victim. But what I will do is I can have a chat with our sex crimes DAs before the next meeting and just talk to them to see if they are recognizing any trends that I can share with you.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
And then with the auto thefts, I think what I will do, I'll also look at some of the declines so that I can have some more specific reasons for you for those declines. I know that sometimes we just don't have the victims on those cases. I know this will probably sound strange to you, but if we can't prove that the suspect driving a stolen car knew that the car was stolen, we can't file the case. So there's a vehicle code section. It's Vehicle Code Section 10851, and it's unlawful driving a vehicle without the owner's consent. And so it could be that someone was observed taking a car, easy to prove that case. Or someone is driving a car, and these are considered joyriding cases. If someone's driving a car and stopped, but we don't have any evidence that the ignition in the car was punched, or that there was a shaved key, or some other indicia that would show that the car was stolen, we may not have the evidence to prove that this person knew the car was stolen. We often get excuses that, well, my buddy loaned me the car, and it's difficult to disprove those facts, so that may explain some of the reasons.
I wasn't thinking of the backlog that you're going through.
Oh, yeah, the backlog, I think, explains a lot of it, because
Yeah.
most of the backlog was cases that were filed for warrant, and that's where, we don't have the same time constraints to file those cases. We're really concentrating on our cases that are where defendants are in custody, and then where we have citations and we have specific dates we have to address with the court. So this backlog was building because some of the cases were.
What are some of the
presented
oldest
for warrant.
dates on some of this backlog of material?
Gosh, I can tell you right now, we probably have, for some of the special units, a year or two. But we are really working
Yeah,
on
great
getting
job.
through
Yeah,
that.
great
And,
job.
we're making sure that we are identifying cases where we're close to the statute of limitations. We don't want to get close to that. And so our people worked very hard to get through this,
great
and we
work.
really are caught up.
Yeah,
It's
commend you.
it's a
Great
good feeling to be caught up at this
Yeah,
point.
absolutely.
Was
Great
that
work.
attributed to additional staff or just overtime, or?
So we're actually still understaffed, but what our office has done, I submitted a memo to our administration downtown to ask for comp time for DAs to work on weekends. And so many of our staff members worked Saturdays and Sundays, 8 hours on each of those days for the last 2 months in order to catch up. And then they were given comp time to use later.
Very nice.
Great work.
All right, thank you.
Great
Any
work.
other
That's
questions?
great to hear.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to the Lancaster Police Department. Welcome, Chief.
Well, hello, everybody. It's been a while since I've been able to get here, but I got to tell you right now, this is a good look. Don't you guys think this is a good look right here? I love it. All these people up here are outstanding people, and it's great to see every seat filled. So a lot going on, and we're excited. I want to start by telling you that our partnership with our brothers and sisters from the Sheriff's Department has been nothing less than outstanding. We're working extremely well together. Our intelligence crime center folks are continuously working with LANCAP, the detectives, and together they're solving a lot of crimes and catching a lot of bad guys and doing some preventative work as well. So in fact, we're in the talks right now with some of Paul's investigators about a recent area, and I'll just leave it nameless, but we had a recent area where 2 shootings occurred. I think it was a Thursday and a Saturday, right, Paul, over the holiday weekend? Several rounds fired at both shootings. And, thanks to his investigators, we're learning that there's 2 or 3 properties in this beautiful cul-de-sac with 2-story homes that are kind of responsible for this. So they're reaching out to us. And besides their investigative side, we're going to do our side and try and get with the property owners and say, hey, sorry, you're going to have to figure this thing out, because we're not going to have, we got other families on the block that are literally saying, okay, we got to move. We got to get our families out of here, and we're not having that. So our partnership, I'm telling you, it's great. So we're going to continue to identify locations like that and work towards dealing with the issues. Want to let you know, I'm happy to tell you we swore in 3 officers last night, and yes, we swore in our first female, which I'm hyper excited about. And I want you to know that we're taking our time and we're making great selections. One of the officers, 16-year veteran from Ventura County Sheriff's, 10 years on the streets out there, Officer of the Year last year for their entire department, and he's coming to us. And he's lived here in this valley for 42 years. And so he was excited when he saw there was another option. And we got another officer from Bakersfield. He's new. He's about 3 years. on the job, but in talking to his supervisors, are like, he's the new up-and-coming guy out there, and he wants to get out. And he's excited about doing traffic enforcement, which we need, and getting on one of those motors. And then the female worked with me at Sierra Madre. She's simply outstanding. I was excited when she called and said she wanted to come. She's been a field training officer, 8 years, field training officer, detective, current detective. She works for the regional SWAT team out there as a hostage negotiator. She's certified. She's done and been trained in doing vice-type operations, which we need to do out here on our Sierra Highway. So we're excited about getting her over here to the team to help with that. But just really good people, and we're actually processing. We have 2 more right now that are going in backgrounds. These are motor folks, and then we're interviewing. We interviewed yesterday. And we're interviewing today as well. So folks are coming, and the good thing is we got enough people applying to where we can take our time and make sure we're getting quality folks. That's the value of being a smaller agency too. You can be selective, so. So right now we're up to 9. 9 officers, 2 sergeants.
One of them is the motor officer. One of them is a motorcycle officer.
So, no, we've got 2 folks who are going on the motors, and a third one who's processing right now. And then our interviews yesterday and today are all motor folks.
So as of right now, 2 on the street, the motorcycle.
That will be on the street. So they just got hired. The new bikes are here. They got to get on their bikes. They got to go through a quick training course, but they'll be out on the street soon doing traffic enforcement.
When I look at the Lancaster, PD officers, and I don't see them. Maybe I missed them. I don't see them. They're wearing bulletproof.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, they do? They do?
Yeah.
I must have missed them then.
Yeah, I'm the only fool who doesn't wear his vest enough out here. No, but I'm inside, so I'm fine. But,
Yes,
yeah,
it's
no, they're
jungle
wearing
out
their
there. I
vests.
just want to protect it.
And then the next meeting, I'll bring those 3 here so you can meet them. So I'll bring them here. And also excited to tell you that last night, we crossed another important barrier, I think, and we got approved to put a school resource officer program into the Westside Union School District. They reached out and wanted to see what type of program we could offer. And we're really excited. We're planning on working in all their schools, and as you know, they have some in Palmdale. So we're going to end up doing a JPA so that we can work inside the Palmdale schools. I think our youth, I said it last night, I don't think there's anything more important that a city does than, educate and give opportunity to the youth and mentor and grow. And our brothers and sisters at the Sheriff's Department are already doing a fine job in some of the schools already. We're going to start doing our part now. And we'll be a little different because I was a school resource officer many moons ago, and we used to be involved in classrooms and things like that. So we're looking forward to getting some of that going, and I'm glad because we're actually giving them not the female last night, but we're giving them a male and a female officer, and I think that's good. In fact, the Sheriff's Department does it in one of their school districts, and I think that's a great combo to have a male and a female officer. So there's another school district also reaching out. I'll just leave that there until we until we figure out how that's going to work out. So,
Rod, does this mean in Westside, for instance, is there a school resource officer from the Sheriff's Department and your department, or you're covering Westside, they're covering Lancaster or Eastside? How are we doing that?
So Westside Union School District is all us, and it'll be our officers working on their campuses. I think Paul has Antelope Valley.
Yeah, we have never contracted with Westside Union School District. Neither us nor Palmdale. We contract with AV Union High School District and Lancaster School District. And in the past, we did Eastside School District also until COVID, when they removed the position, and we were never able to add that position back due to our moratorium.
You know, I think I'm okay to share too. Eastside is in the talks with us right now. We met with them last week. So we're working that out to see how that's going to work out. But I think these school resource officer programs are essential. They're important. These groups that don't want them in schools, I don't understand it. You know, the job they do at Antelope Valley High School District is a proof of, you know, the need.
So is there only 2 officers for the whole district?
Yeah, 2 officers for the whole district. They primarily have, they've got 2 middle schools, and that's really where they want the attention at. The officers will be available to go to the elementary schools as needed. So if there's a request made, they'll go over, but they're going to do most of their work at the middle schools.
Very cool.
I'll just add that that's similarly to Lancaster School District. We have 3 school resource deputies for 21 schools. So they're divided up by area, and each one of them is responsible for 7 schools, including one middle school.
So is that budgetary, or I mean, 3's not very many for that many schools?
That's contracted. That's what the school district contracts with the sheriff's department in Lancaster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good deal when you think about it. I mean, they pay for the percentage of the time that they have the officers for the school year. They could have them more if they need to, but most of your school districts don't need them in summer school. So in our case, it'll be where they're going to pay for that, the cost of that officer for somewhere around 200 days, 190 days a year. Then the city will pick up the rest. And during those times, we're going to have additional officers on our streets now. So which is similar to what Paul's guys do. So you're able to put together summer teams and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good deal. We're excited about it. And then want to tell you, I don't know if I mentioned it, well, actually, I don't think I did because we're there now. We've got 3 actual homeless teams now. And what we're doing now is we have homeless liaison folks working on the weekends and in the evenings so that we can get out more and deal with and touch issues out there. So they're trying to figure things out. You know, in fact, I think the homeless count reading is this week on Thursday, so we'll have an idea what our homeless count is looking like. I don't know if that's going to be the official number, but we're going online to hear that, so we'll be sharing it with you folks.
Ron, on the homeless stuff, are we still missing that link with the unincorporated areas of Lancaster? Or are you able to cover that too? Is the county filling in on that spot because it used to be in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, Cap, we have to go through the sheriff's department on certain ones and then the county on other ones, and there was never a connection there. Is that bridge or that gap? Because it's a real problem for property owners who find out that your responsive time is excellent, Kit, excellent. Chief, yours is excellent. On the unincorporated areas, they find that they just can't get anything done. Or your officers get to a point and says, that's not us, that's unincorporated.
Yeah, I think so most of the homeless programs in the county areas are handled by the host team.
Yeah.
And there are some stationed at the old AV station at 10th and J. I don't know how much they get out. I know in the city, primarily, that's been handled by the city because they have their own homeless program. But yeah, they do. I know the city has partnered with them in the past with the host team on some issues. So
Yeah, and
they don't have the staffing level that the city has.
yeah.
So there's still that gap, I'm assuming, yeah.
Still that gap, and, you know, we'll definitely take a look and.
Oh, I know you do.
And
Yeah, Chief,
We'll
I
take-
know you do, yeah, trust me.
we'll take a look and we'll go do what we can. When we take a look, we usually can relate it to the
Correct.
city somehow, which allows us to get over there. We, of course, are completely respectful of Paul and his folks. So anything like that, we would communicate
Yeah.
and say, hey, we think we got a reason to go over here. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to let us know about it, because honestly, it's pretty much the same individuals in Palmdale, here,
No,
unincorporated.
I can't even say how much I respect what Cap, Chief, Kit, all you guys do when that situation arises. You're right on it. And you have crossed that barrier as far as looked at the unincorporated areas, and you've done the extra mile, so I appreciate that. So I was just wondering if there are counties out there doing much, and now you've explained that, Cap.
Yeah, we do, and we rely too on we have a resident deputy for Lake Los Angeles, so county funded, and he does a lot of that work out there because he has that connection with the community and all the needs that they have there. So we also have that added layer.
Absolutely. So, but we're excited because we're going to be able to get out there for more hours and the weekends. It was funny, we found out that, the guys hit the boulevard every morning and kind of, deal with that. And then we found out when they get off at 5 o'clock, they go back out there to the boulevard. So it's one of the reasons we realize that, hey, our city needs us. They need more coverage. So we're happy about that. Also want to share with you that we are opening a substation on the boulevard. You may have seen it. It's right by that, what's the name of that, Cluck Chicken or something, that chicken place? There we go.
Sassy Bird.
Sassy Bird, yep, they got some good chicken too, boy, I'll tell you. So, but we're right a couple doors down from there, and we're hiring, or going through the process of hiring bodies now that are gonna staff that. We're still playing with the hours, but it'll primarily be probably Monday through Sunday, and they won't be there too late at night unless we have an activity going. But we're going to have folks there, so we're excited about that as well. And then we were talking about DUIs and DUI enforcement. Obviously, we're hiring these 8 motors, but I'm happy to tell you we just received our DUI CHP education grant, about $145,000. That's strictly for the education piece. And now that we have the officers, we're getting a $400,000 enforcement grant, which is going to allow us to do DUI checkpoints. I forgot what you call it when you're out just hitting the streets. There's a ton of things we'll be able to do with that, get some people trained in as drug recognition experts, and several other things are going to come with that. We're obviously going to reach out to the sheriff's department and invite them to come along with us on these checkpoints and things like that. Since we already have the contract, we can do that and ensure we have sufficient personnel. But I think we get to do, I want to say this year we can do either 5 or 6 DUI checkpoints with that money. It pays for a trailer that we need and a whole bunch of other things. So we're really happy when we received the notice that we were getting it just a couple weeks back. So you'll see some of those checkpoints out there coming soon.
Great.
Yep. That's really all I got. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Congratulations on your growth, man. I like the way you guys are
Appreciate
doing
that,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know a few of us were here yesterday to see the swearing in. It was inspiring to see and exciting to have those officers join us.
Yeah, we're excited. I got to get my emotions together. I get emotional with those things, man. Seeing these,
So-
when you did it as long as we did it, seeing these young cops come on, you just feel good for them, So, thank you.
How does,
no,
few questions.
go ahead. Yeah.
How's the CCW processing going?
So that process is going, we actually, like I said, we had a line that we needed to get up and running again with the sheriff's department, because they kind of handle it for the whole county. And we had that line reran, we got the fiber and everything run, and then there was a router that we learned that we needed. So we picked that up. It got driven down to their folks down there who were doing it all, and they are programming that router now. We're hoping to get it back by the end of the week, if not next week. And once we put that thing in, we're up and running. We got our CLETS, I forgot what that stands for, but law enforcement technologies, and then we can actually run the thing on people, the stuff on people that we need to run. And we've processed already probably somewhere, I know we're definitely over 100, it might be close to 200 or so. And as soon as we get the nod on that, we're going to run everybody rapidly and start sending them out and giving folks approval. So we're really close. It's been tough because we've been we decided to start soon instead of waiting till everything was up and then saying, okay, now give us your applications. But this allowed us to get people up to this point, and then it's just a matter of us running them. So I'm hoping that by next week, we're running them and giving those things out, because all the other steps have been done.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, just to kind of have a discussion here, I know you and I have talked and with some of the council members about some of these, I guess, I'll call them just out-of-town landlords that are repeatedly renting or allowing crime to happen on their properties. And I want to differentiate that out between those who want help and work with law enforcement versus problematic operators. And I know we've talked specifically, I think you probably got the same calls I got over the weekend about one in particular.
Yeah.
And, but we had discussed possibly bringing those in, working with the council that has subpoena power to bring those folks in, since they won't willingly work with your department. Can you speak to that issue and what we can do up here to help with that?
So we're actually working on that property now with our legal team to get them in front of council. Now, I haven't done that process before, so I'm really interested on what happens once council gets it. I had heard that there was a talk about trying to then get them in front of you. So we're talking with legal about how that would work. But one thing's for sure, we're going to start grabbing those folks and bringing them in front of city council, and then talking about, you know, what steps could be taken, including putting them under a blue light process, where their property is determined as basically a I can't think of the term, but a property that is continuously causing problems. We used to do this at the sheriff's department back when I was there, and it was pretty effective.
I can remember back in the day when the alarms were going off and continuous same alarms, same this and that, there was a fee at one time. And instead of, I see the property owners, and we're in this business, unfortunately, sometimes, you know, and we see it morning, noon, and night. And I look at this stuff, and I know exactly which ones you're referring to. But it seems to me, getting those property owners that possibly don't live in the area, that live someplace else, and they've kind of stubbed their nose up in the air at us and said that, you know, it is what it is, and they're not going to do anything about it. There's got to be something, because it just continues to go on and on and on. And it begins to become a trash issue, loitering, alarms, whatever other illegal type of stuff that's going on. And for some reason, we've been talking about this for a while, haven't we? Yeah. You know, so it just seems to me that there's got to be a way to bring them up in front, or it only takes one time to close them down. And I'm sure they'll be coming up here morning, noon, and night to try to figure out what they got to do.
I think if you could just, you know, there's no other way to do it but to tie it directly to their pocketbook.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to where if we, as a city, decided that if you're from out of the area and we create something that everybody has to abide by, and when they don't, there's a serious fine that's imposed, that's the only way to get their attention. Because it's all about a money grab to begin with. They're doing it to make money. So when they make less money because they don't do things according to how we wish to be done, they will change.
Yeah. And it's harming legitimate businesses that are in those areas.
That's correct.
You know, that are trying to follow the rules. I mean, you know, the one in particular, without getting too specific, I mean, it's the same space has been leased out, I don't know how many times, to Tap Taps. And it is beyond belief that the owner doesn't know.
And I think you look at that location that we're referring to, and the businesses that are trying to make legitimate business going on, and they have to deal with that in parking lots and the other stuff. It's, you know, to them, it's not right for them either. And I'm sure they're constantly calling and saying, is there anything you can do? And they're running their business like they should run their business.
Well, I mean, I think I got I believe we both spoke to the same individual who got
Yeah.
a complaint on the 4th of July. And that was, and it was causing harm to another business in the center.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I mean, make no mistake about it, we're the entity that should deal with that. And we have a process, and we're kind of starting to get to selecting places and dealing with them now. When I first got here, I mean, just as an example of that process, the Lancaster Inn, and speaking with Paul, you know, his team made us aware of the fact that that place was responsible for some 900 calls in 2 years. And then we took a look and said, okay, this one's ours. And then working with them and a bunch of other entities, that's one of them where it was like, okay, you're done. So I think with us, with our building and getting it all together, it's trying to keep up with all of it. But we're going to get on those things, because that's one of the things that we're capable of taking care of. And we're starting to work on that particular property, because that if I can say it, that guy's already thumbed his nose at us, because he was supposed to meet with us some 6 months back and didn't show up for the meeting. So he's just lucky I've been too busy, because
Yeah,
I took
think-
that.
I think Commissioner Harris is correct, that when you sit there and say, you're right, Howard, hit him in the pocketbook, and not a small one, but one that gets their attention, because it's just an ongoing thing, and this has been going on for so long, it's just crazy.
Well, you know, we manage several HOAs, and what is starting to happen with a few different HOAs is they're making the owners that have rental property within the HOA pay an extra $200 to $500 a month to make it a rental property. And that right there makes you say, okay, it's not cost prohibitive for me to make this, I might as well sell the property to a homeowner. So it's always going to come down to the pocketbook. That's what drives everybody. It's a business.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody have any other questions? Okay. Well, I want to tell a quick story. About a month ago, I was leaving the AV Alta game. And if you've been there and left, it's a little bit of a rush getting out, difficulty getting out of the parking lot. And I had parked across the street, so I'm walking, and as I'm walking, I see a big problem in the intersection. People very slow to get out, but I see an officer out there directing traffic, and it was the chief himself. I just want to commend him. That's the kind of commitment he has to. He sees something, he helps out, and we appreciate you so much.
No, I appreciate that. It's hard to let go, right, Paul?
And to piggyback off his story, I think when we met, that was one of the first things I admired of you, coming from the community, being in the community. I think I mentioned to you that I speak to a lot of our friends and our clients and my neighbors, and they all say, yeah, I know the chief. I know the chief. Everybody knows the chief. And that's so good to hear.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to piggyback off that, because we
Thank you. I
do
appreciate
appreciate
that.
you getting out there.
Thank you, I appreciate it, and welcome. We're so glad you're here, so.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up we have our elected office updates. Let's start with Congressman Whiteside's office.
Okay, how do I turn, it's on. Okay, never mind. 1 second. All right, good morning. My name is Jasmine Hernandez. I'm the Antelope Valley Field Representative for Congressman George Whitesides, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my report today. So I do have a legislative update, and this is for his votes in May around law enforcement and public safety. And so first, I want to share that he voted yes on House Resolution 2255. It is the Federal Law Enforcement Officer Service Weapon Purchase Act of 2025. This bill would require the GSA to establish a program to allow federal law enforcement officers to buy retired firearms from the U.S. government. The measure would authorize current and retired officers in good standing to purchase their service firearms, excluding machine guns, that have been declared surplus or retired by the agency that issued them. The officers would need to make the purchase within 6 months of the firearms retirement. He also voted yes on House Resolution 2240, improving law enforcement, officer safety and wellness through Data Act. This bill would require the Justice Department to report to Congress on aggression and attacks against law enforcement, as well as the availability of mental health resources for officers. This bill is aimed at enhancing data collection, as many incidents involving attacks against officers are either unreported or not fully documented. In addition, he voted yes to House Resolution 364, calling upon local communities to support organizations that provide resources and aid Gold Shield families in their time of need, which would urge local communities to support nonprofits that provide resources to families of police officers, firefighters, and other first responders who have died in the line of duty. It also would urge these families known as Gold Shield families to use the resources. And then lastly, the House Resolution 30 expressing support for local law enforcement officers. This resolution would express gratitude for local law enforcement officers and their families. It would also honor the officers who died in the line of duty and encourage collaboration between local law enforcement agencies and communities they serve to enhance public safety and trust. And that's all for the month of May.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any
Thank
questions
you.
for Jasmine?
Thank you.
Great, thanks very much. Okay, we have Senator Valladares' office.
Good morning, everybody. I have just a quick little update on the budget. So the legislature has agreed to the budget at $321 billion, big difference, including $228.4 billion in general fund revenues. It has increased borrowing from $2.5 billion compared to the May revision that we had. It contains fewer spending reductions and draws about $13.6 billion from reserve accounts, $7.1 billion from the rainy day fund, and $6.5 billion from other reserve areas in the budget. This has nearly doubled since about 10 years ago with the state of California. So that's the latest on the budget for that. We had a couple trailer bills that were about 300 to 400 pages long that were just full of pork that the senator voted against, just about every single one of them, solely because our spending crisis is way too high in California. We were at a point a couple years ago where we were in a surplus, $100 million surplus, and we are now in major deficits. So another quick little update I have is with one of our bills. It is our looting impersonation bill. We were able to take our old bill and latch it on to another member of the legislature's bills, so that way we could be able to get it passed through committees. Being in the super minority with something we have to do a lot is a lot of negotiating, a lot of making sure that we still get our stuff in bills. So we're proud to say that that bill for looting and impersonating any kind of firefighter, police officer, any kind of servant like that is now in the assembly, and so we are excited about that. We had six bills passed through the House of Origin deadline and are now in the assembly, so it's something that we're really excited about and that we don't see too often in the state for being in the super minority. So any questions on those?
As you know, California voters overwhelmingly passed Prop 36 to undo a lot of previous propositions and bills and make things a little safer. But I understand there's an issue about funding funding Prop 36 to implement it.
Right.
Can you speak to that a little?
I could go ahead and make sure I speak correctly on it all and get that for you next month to do with the budget and all that.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
Great. Fantastic. Anything else? All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I see we have Assemblyman Lackey's office.
Good morning, everybody. So the Assemblyman's Bill AB 38 with the developmentally disabled minors classifying the rape of them as a violent felony has been held in Assembly's Public Safety, and it's turned into a 2-year bill. We feel that turning this into a 2-year bill will actually make it pass through the legislature. The AB 300 Fire Marshal 5-year review bill is now in Senate appropriations, so we're waiting to see how that one goes. AB 486 burglary tools It's adding key programming devices, key duplicating devices, and signal extenders to the list of specified tools that can be used to break into cars, buildings as a misdemeanor. This one has passed through public safety in Senate and is now being referred to appropriations as well. The Child Abuse Mandated Entertainment Reporter Act, also known as CAMERA, which is AB 653. So this one is actually being heard in appropriations on 7/14. This is our bill that we've partnered with Paris Hilton. This helps to increase the amount of reporters that are mandated in any kind of film industry. Our AB 779 is our DCFS Domestic Violence Consultant Program. This one is also being heard in appropriations on 7/14. AB 855, the CHP Safety Plan Mandate. This one has actually died in Assembly appropriations. That it was in response to batteries for electric vehicles, so we'll see what happens next year when it gets reintroduced. AB 1033, the Property Owner Appraisal Reimbursement Act, was passed through Senate Judiciary Committee and referred to Senate appropriations. That increases the amount of money that the owners can get when there's appraisals due to eminent domain, because that amount used to be way lower than the current threshold, so we're trying to increase the amount they receive. And then AB 1210, the California Probation Officers of California, increases the notice required by the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation prior to the release of any of the inmates. So that has passed through Senate Public Safety and it's been referred to Senate Appropriations. So we're just waiting to see what makes it through into the governor's desk at this moment.
Okay.
That's all I have for today. Any questions?
Okay, no
Thank you.
questions. Thank you very much. And I can't always tell, is there someone from Assemblyman Carrillo's office here? Oh, okay. With that, we will move on to public business from the floor, non-agendized items.
This is a time to address the Lancaster Criminal Justice Commission on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each unless a different time limit is announced. State law prohibits the commission from taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Come on down, Mr. Paul. You're our only star today.
That's neat. Good morning, Chair Mercy, Vice Chair Little, and Commissioners. It's great to be here. I came here a little testy this morning, and I helped calm me down. The world is full of stuff, isn't it? But you guys trying to fix any of it is amazing, because I know the district attorney shares the same frustrations. You hear stuff about, I didn't know we had a sex crime district attorney special. That's nice, but for a dozen years before this, and probably a dozen before that, all these rape kits never got processed. And you hear the thousands of numbers and over the years, and you go, if you could find the person who's in charge, there isn't that. It's the system. And you guys work within it to do the best you can, and it always amazes me. I sometimes have trouble sleeping at night. So on the 4th of July special on Fandango, I bought Yellowstone, all 5 editions. And I'm watching that, and it just reminds me, I love that new Jack Reacher show too, because there's a lot of gray areas in there. There's a lot of killing that's outside of what you might think is sanctioned, and sometimes a scumbag has to go away. So now, if you're in the military, that's your job. If you're in law enforcement, you have to give them their due rights, and it's confounding. But the one thing I did want to talk about last night, and I don't know if I missed it, well, I ran out quick, but Rex talked about renaming this commission and taking it to be the Lancaster Police Commission or something. And I'm thinking about that, whether that's a good idea. I'm really excited to see the elected officials come and give updates. And, I like this recognized as a special thing for the whole Antelope Valley. And it doesn't really matter what you call it, but I just want everyone to know that you guys are here working to solve these problems that, seem insurmountable. The main thing is we keep going on. And for the chief, I wanted to say 2 things. last night I was wondering, watching him walk around, how proud he is and how proud he must be. I was appreciating that. And the other thing was what he said this morning, that about the deputies in the schools and stuff. Sometimes it's as simple as contact. And the more contact you have with the right people or right attitudes or right relationships to the law and society, the better. So I applaud the deputies in the school, and if we put them all in there, you still need more. So, but thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you for the kind words.
Thank you, David.
Okay, that's our only public comment. We have commissioner comments.
Just want to say welcome to the board. We appreciate it and look forward to working with you.
Well, thank you. Same here, and I know it sounds funny, but it's been a while we have a fully step over here. When I just look from the outside and the walking in here looking so good, you don't mind, and somebody take a picture of us, you know?
Yeah, I had to take a double take too. Welcome,
Thank
Cynthia.
Thank you.
Very much so. Looking forward to it, working with you. So, absolutely.
Second time this morning, welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm really honored to be here, work next to people that really care about our community. It's evident with the amount of time you all dedicate to this beautiful city, and the results are also evident. So I'm honored to just sit next to you and learn from the best, really. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Well, I'd just echo that again. I mean, you've been doing incredible work in this community for many years, and excited to be able to work with you here. And I, just kind of echoing off that, some of the things Mr. Paul said, it just reminded me of a Mr. Rogers quote. And talking to kids, when something scary or tragic happens in the community, look for the helpers, the people. And one thing I love about this commission is we get to see the people who are firsthand, every one of you in law enforcement, doing that every day. So, thank you. Yes, and yeah, I think with a full commission and our new member, let's go ahead and take a group photo down here upon adjournment.
Oh, yeah.
Whichever you think. Oh. Okay, well, let's go ahead, and if there's no objection, we will adjourn to the next regular meeting.